Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with the Powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video I'll be giving you guys my review of Dreadful Meadows, the Deluxe Edition, coming to you from Arkus Games and designed by Lukus. Before I dive into my review, guys, just want to let you guys know that moving forward, the rest of our reviews, they're going to change just a little bit. I want to give you guys a more visual representation of our reviews and really focus and pinpoint on certain things. Again, I don't really want to copy some other content creators that do like a how to play and show you how to play the game prior to going into the review, but I do feel like me just sitting here and talking about my points the whole time and never really showing off much of the game doesn't do that justice either. So I'm going to combine a bunch of different things together. So moving forward, when we go to the theme here, I'm going to go down to the table. I'm briefly going to highlight the game in about 60 seconds, but I'm going to show you how the mechanics work and how that ties into the theme of the game. So if you're just interested in how the game is played, then just check out the theme, right? Components are going to stay the same. We're going to stay at the table, taking a look at those components. Setup, we're going to drop back down to the table. I'm going to show you all the things you're going to need to set the game up, just giving you guys a better visual representation rather than, like I said, me just sitting here and talking the whole time. All right, now these videos are going to be a little bit longer because I'm doing all this stuff and they're going to be a little bit more in depth, so check out the timestamps down below if you want to just check out certain aspects. But let's go ahead and jump right into my review, guys, of Dreadful Meadows, the Deluxe Edition here. So starting out with the theme. So the overall premise of Dreadful Meadows here is that you are what they call a confectioner, right? And you are essentially going to try and be the best confectioner or candy maker in the town. And so you're going to partner up with one of these other well-known confectioners in the game, and you're going to use their abilities and special skills, is what they call it, to try and generate the most victory points and be the #1 confectioner of all time. So let's go down to the table. I'm going to give you my review and then basically show you the mechanics and how everything ties in. Okay, guys, so down here at the table, I'm going to go ahead and start right off the bat. For the theme here, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10. Okay, I think there's a really strong theme here and the mechanics tie in. So like I said, essentially you are a confectioner and you're going to be pairing with one of the other confectioners in the town. So there is 5 other confectioners here in this deluxe version. You got Leaf, Jack, Nina, Igor, and then Luna, who we're taking a look at today. And each of these characters are going to have their own individual powers, so that's their individual skill. But what you are trying to do is produce candy, and so the mechanics of this game are very, very well done, where you have all of these different tiles here that you will be allowed to purchase from the board, and you're going to add these tiles to like a little build area or a tableau area, and you put these little sprites on here, and these sprites will generate candy around the tiles that are adjacent to where your sprite is, okay? And then this candy is used to buy other tiles or maybe purchase a harvester in the game to increase your ability to harvest more candy throughout the game. And then, like I said, your overall objective is to score victory points. You do these by completing these concoction cards. So you'll just pay these resources and gain the required amount of victory points at the end of the game. There is a way to score victory points with these harvesters, but like I said, not going to go into super detail about that. But that is essentially the mechanics of the game, right? On your turn, you're going to take an action. You have 4 actions that are available to you here. Everything is really well done. All you need is this single card, and you know how to play the game with the front and back. And so you take one of these actions. You can either buy something, you can put a sprite down, remove the sprite, buy a harvester, and then what you're trying to do is build up your candy. Use this candy to buy more plots of land, is what they call it, and then complete all of these concoction cards with the candy that you have. You got this little tile bag where you will draw and replace these tiles. So the mechanics do a really, really excellent job of tying in with this theme of Halloween, and like I love the little the names of all the tiles, right? You got the pumpkin pods, the treacle teeth, the gummy globs. Let me see if I can find the other one. It's the like Phantomalos or whatever. Yeah, you got the Phantomalos, like the marshmallows, and it just works really, really well. So 9 out of 10 for me with the theme. Okay, guys, moving on to the components. As always, we're gonna drop down to the table again, talk about all the components, show you the storage solution, so you have everything stored in a box, and then we'll be back up top for some more points and reviews. Okay, back down at the table, let's go ahead and take a look at all these components here in camera view, and then I'll show you all the stuff outside the view. Let's just start right at the top. So you have these nice harvesters. These are acrylic standees, and man, they just look phenomenal. Very excellent, well-made production here. You have all of your plots of land. These are just generic cardboard punch-outs. Nothing too crazy about them, but I do love all the artwork on each individual plot of land that you have. The board itself, nice, elaborate, artsy work here. You got spots for all of the plots of land. Now here is technically where the resources would go, but I find that this little storage component where they have all the resources is better or perfect enough to just keep all the resources in here and you pull from that. And so this is where they're gonna go. And what's cool is each of these have these own individual storage components. So you're gonna have 5 of them, okay, that you'll be able to put in each different position there. So that's kind of the storage of all those resources. The board itself is cool because it's like in a bat shape and it folds up like this. My only shtick with the board is that sometimes it really doesn't lay flat on the table even when you push it down. So it's kind of like laying up off the table, but it's not that big of a deal, okay? But this is the board of the game here as I'm like taking out all these harvesters. I already went over the resources here. We have the player boards themselves. All these player boards are dual layer, and man, they feel really, really nice. They have a front side and then a back side for if you're playing in the solo mode. Really well done here with the artwork, and I love the border is like specific to each individual character or confectioner that you choose, okay? The sprites of each one are going to be their own little meeples, and they got the cool screen print. The concoction cards, super generic, nothing too special about them here. You got a whole deck of different concoction cards. You got these player aid cards, fantastic, fantastic. You have the cool draw bag here, which is the Candy Crops bag, essentially what they do it, and I just love all the little artwork here, like the Sinister Steeds hybrid MMO, right? Like super, super funny and cool of like it's a supposed to be like a feed bag almost for these plots of land. The rule book. The rulebook is pretty well done, super self-explanatory, not a whole lot of questions that you'll have to refer back to the rulebook, and then they have a nice, easy solo mode. In the back, what's cool is they have like this checklist for the solo mode itself, and then they also have like top tips for you to play the game, some tips if you need help to try and maximize stuff. So that's the rule book. All right, last thing with the components, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual box itself and all the storage. Everything in this box is stored perfectly to a T, and I love this. The storage is so great. You're basically gonna put all of these sprites in these spots. You got the score pad. This is where all the player aids are gonna go here. Your concoction cards will go there, all right? Your storage tray goes right in there. Your player boards will go on top of that. Here's all the plots of land and these individual stuff, and your harvesters go down here in the middle. The storage for this is fantastic, and I know that I didn't say it. I apologize for that, but my rating here for these components is going to be a 9 out of 10, guys. I think it is excellent. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the setup. So I'm going to go ahead and give the setup a 7 out of 10 here. Look, the setup is not too bad, but the lengthiest part of the setup is trying to get out and search and organize all of those individual plots of land. Let's go jump down to the table again real quick, kind of show you what I'm talking about. So for the setup, obviously, get the game board out. What you're going to need to do is get the resources out, right? Go ahead, pick your player board. You'll also need to distribute a 3, 6, and 9 concoction card to each player, shuffle the rest of the deck out, and then like I said guys, the lengthiest part of the setup is trying to take these individual tiles and sort them out. So depending on your player count, there's going to be certain tiles to use and not use. So let me show this in the camera so you guys can get a better look here. So you see this trickle teeth here. On the back side here, you'll see there's a little space with a 0. So this is going to be used in all games, all right? Now taking a look at this pumpkin pod, you'll see on the back there's 4 little dots, okay? So that is going to be used in a 4-player game. So each of these little plots of land are going to have like 3 and 4 on them for in a 3 and 4 player game. And so it is considerably a lengthy process, like taking this whole stack out of gummy globs, having to search through and see which ones are 4, which ones are 3 for that particular game. So that does add a pretty good length to it. All right, guys, that's why I said it's going to be a 7 out of 10 for me. Okay, moving on to the length of the game. I'm going to go ahead and give this, again, a 7 out of 10. On the box, it does say about 45 plus minutes. I would say it's in that 45 to a 60-minute range for a 2-player game. So right on that mark there. So 7 out of 10. Nothing really else to talk about there. Okay, guys, moving on with the difficulty. As always, remember with the difficulty, the lower the number, the easier we feel the game is. The higher the number, the more difficult or challenging we feel the game is. I'm going to go ahead and give Dreadful Meadows here a 3 out of 10. I would give it lower because, look, I think the game is super simple. On your turn, there's only 4 actions that you can take. Says everything on that player card, right? It's either buy a tile, put a Sugar Sprite down, buy a harvester, or remove one of your Sugar Sprites from the board and gain the desired effect of the tile or crop that you put it on. Super simple, super easy to teach and pick up and understand. The most challenging part about the game is kind of the harvesters themselves. Let's go down to the table and I'll actually show you how this harvester scores. So in this example, bear with me here. You would have this harvester, and the plot or crop that the harvester is on, he will score that many victory points by himself. So he's going to score 3, okay, just by himself. And then for every other crop of the same color here, he's going to get 1 additional point that is touching in a group, right? So if I had something like this, there would be 3 additional points. So in total, this harvester is going to score me 6 points. Now, if you have a dreadful tree in that area, a dreadful tree can be considered a wild, and so you could use the dreadful tree in there, so now it would be 7 total points, okay? But if you had something like this or something like that, right? This trickle T would not count because it stops at this gummy glob, and this is the only area that is contiguous in that, all right? You can also have harvesters in the same contiguous area, and it's only going to add up the other 2 that the harvester is not on. So in this example, this harvester scores you 3, this harvester scores you 3, so that's 6. But then this harvester will score you an additional 2. This harvester will score you an additional 2. You would not get the 3 because this crop is occupied by a harvester, okay? So it is somewhat confusing the first couple times how to understand how the harvesters work. That's why I'm giving this a 3 out of 10. But really, I think this game is simple. This is a really cool, fun gateway game, I feel, for a lot of people, and very easy to pick up. All right, moving on to replayability here. I'm going to go ahead and give the replayability an 8 out of 10. I think there's great replayability with this game. Of course, you have all the different characters with their own individual powers, and like what we have noticed is each individual character has their own strategy. So, for example, you have Jack, who he doesn't have to pay a premium for any of those tiles on the board. So if you caught on the board earlier, you saw underneath those tiles there was like an additional money value. So whatever that tile costs, you would have to pay that additional money value on top of that. So like if you looked at the far left side, it would be an additional $3 to buy that tile. Jack doesn't have to pay into that. He just pays the straight up cost of the tile. So Jack's strategy is kind of, let me build a huge area and get harvesters out so I can score a lot of victory points, right? On the other hand, you have a character like Nina, who you saw in the example. Her special ability is that when she pulls Sugar Sprites from these different, the candy plots, she can choose any bonus instead of the bonus that the candy plot would have you. So normally what would happen is when you put that Sugar Sprite down on that specific plot, when you pull it from that plot, it's going to give you a desired effect. With Nina, you can get any effect as if it was any plot of land. So typically what you want to do with her is pull off and get these concoction cards and amass all these concoction cards and fill those to score victory points. So I love how each character has their own individual play style and strategy that makes it work really well. And then obviously, of course, you're going to be building different plots of land every time. So I think there's great replayability here with Dreadful Meadows. Okay, moving on to the price here. So I backed this on Kickstarter for $50 US. I've seen it online on Arkus's website for $75 US. I tried to find if there was any else cheaper. I could not. So we're sticking with, you can't get it on Kickstarter anymore. So we're sticking with that price. You can buy it for $75 right now. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 7 out of 10. I think it's okay, like good value. $75 is kind of pricey for this game. Yes, there are some deluxeified components in here, like those acrylic standees and all the wooden resources, but I feel like this would be like a $60 game rather than a $75. But now in today's market, you know, a lot of deluxe editions of games are going for that $65, $70 price range. So I put it about average right there, you know, 7 out of 10. I think is good. It's okay to good, okay, for the value with this game. All right, moving on to my overall rating. So I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8 out of 10. Look, I think Dreadful Meadows is a great game, right? This is definitely a game that you're going to want to pull out every Halloween. Also, I think this is just a great game to play with newer folks who are new to board gaming, who maybe want to take on something a little outside the box, or maybe a step up in I don't want to say heaviness, because the game's not really that heavy, but than what they normally have playing. I think there's a lot of fun here with this game. For me, the favorite component is all those different characters with the different powers and strategies, and like building out your crops of land and putting those sprites down and generating that candy. I mean, look, it's just a phenomenal, great Halloween themed game that you're gonna play. The mechanics, I really like how it's super simple, it's super easy. You only get 4 things on your turn to do. Most of the time, you're not going to have analysis paralysis. You're going to know what you need to do. Like, hey, I don't have any candy, which is money. I need to put a Sugar Sprite down and get some candy. Or like, hey, I need to get some more tiles to get some points. So there's hardly ever points in the game where you're going to have that analysis paralysis. And so I really, really like the simplicity here with Dreadful Meadows. The artwork here is phenomenal as well, and I do enjoy the production of the game. It's very vibrant, it's very bright, so that is a plus for me as well. All right, guys, well, look, last thing up, we got, if you had the opportunity to back this game again, would I back it? Absolutely, yes. Look, I think for $50 US with the production of this value, I think that's a steal. That is great value that I picked up this game at. Like I said, I do really enjoy this game a lot. You know, especially around the Halloween time, I'm busting this out, but more than not, whenever I want to give my board game group a challenge, or maybe some newer players a challenge, want to go ahead and bust this game out, and I think they are really, really going to enjoy it. So I would definitely, hands down, back this game again. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed my review and enjoyed my thoughts and opinions on Dreadful Meadow, the deluxe edition, coming to you from Arkus Games. If you enjoyed this content, please go ahead, drop a like, hit that notification bell, and as always, guys, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. One last final thing, guys, we just want to say a huge thank you. We finally hit 500 subscribers, so we're definitely going to have to do something special like that for the channel, maybe some sort of giveaway. So me and Sierra are going to game plan and think what we should do. So y'all be on the lookout for something like that. And as always, guys, y'all have a great one. Bye.